What is good, everyone? My name's Brody. If you're a follower or a subscriber, you probably know me. I was a tradie for about 8 years, and then I went into FIFO for about 8 months, and now I'm in the digital products high ticket sales space. So pretty much the point of this video, I'm actually on the way to the gym. The point of this video is I just want to dive in a little deeper into my thought process about when I started my journey and got involved in this online space. To begin with, obviously I just started working in FIFO. I was working underground, 2 and 2 roster, and originally I just seen a lad online that was doing appointment setting, and I thought, my original thought process is, oh yeah, that'd be cool. I could do that in my time off, make a few extra bucks, and, you know, save up for like a house deposit or something like that. I just purely wanted a side hustle that I could do in my time off, so I could still be earning money while I wasn't actually at work. And that's pretty much what I did. I started my journey. I started learning for about 2 months. It took me 2 months before I landed my first setting role. Which, I mean, some people land roles a lot quicker than that. But yeah, to be honest, I was a bit lazy at the start. I wasn't really taking it too serious until I realized like I actually had to put work in to start to see results. So yeah, like I said, I purely just wanted a side hustle. I wasn't looking at this as a possible like full career change or anything like that. And pretty much after my 2nd month, I said I landed a setting role, right? And yeah, so I started doing appointment setting, and in my 3rd month, I made my first commission check, which was about $500 for a deal that had closed. And I was still working in the mines at that point. I actually made the money while I was in my FIFO donga. So yeah, I made my first commissions of about $500, and I thought, fuck yeah, this is sick. I can just, you know, keep doing this as a side hustle, you know, make a few extra bucks here and there, save up for a house deposit like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, so I stuck to it, sort of going, you know, all in while I was on my breaks from FIFO while I was home, putting most of my time into it. After I made my first commission check in my 3rd month, I had managed to bring in $8,000 in commissions, which well and truly replaced my FIFO income. I was making between 4.5 and 5.5K a month in FIFO after tax. The smart thing to do at the time would have been to, you know, quit my FIFO job, go all in with what I was doing in the online space and try and keep that momentum going. However, at the time, I've always had this mindset. It's always been drummed into me as a kid that I needed to have a job. I needed to have that secure income, to otherwise, you know, I was at risk of, you know, going broke or whatever, what have you. However, the smart thing to do would have been to quit my job and go all in, but at the time I wasn't thinking like that. So I just kept going how I was. You know, I was getting stuck into it on my breaks, and then obviously when I'd go away to FIFO, I was working most of the day, so I couldn't really do a hell of a lot. And so the momentum would swing up and down. When I'd be on break, it would go back up, and then I'd go back to work and it would go back down, which was really halting my progress. And then the next few months after that, I was only making, you know, 1, 2, 3K because of that reason. And I actually very nearly gave up. I had a few things going on in my life. You know, I had a relationship end, which, you know, it's all good, it's fine. But yeah, it really took my focus off what I was trying to achieve and my vision that I had for myself in the online space. So there was probably a good 2 months there where I completely stopped doing everything. I completely stopped posting content. I completely stopped appointment setting, completely stopped learning. I was basically going to give up. But then there was one swing while I was out in the mines where I was just having a kind of a time. I was not having a good time. And I sat myself down and I thought, is this something I really want to be doing for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years? And I came to the conclusion that no, it is absolutely not. And I'd done my trade for 8 years. I was sick of that, did not want a fucking bar of swinging a hammer anymore. So that's when I, you know, pulled myself into line and said, right, get back on the horse, toughen up, you'll get through it, it'll be good. So I started posting content again, and about 2 weeks after I started posting, I thought, you know what, I'm either gonna make this happen or I'm gonna fail. So I pulled the pin and I quit my FIFO job. I was only making between 1 and 2K the month that I quit my FIFO job. I'm like, right, it's all or nothing. I'm all in. I've got to do this now. All of a sudden I'd gone from just wanting like a little side hustle that would bring me a few extra bucks to this is it. I've got to make this happen now, which was a huge mindset shift for me, because I realized that treating anything as a side hustle, you will only ever get side hustle results. You will never get real results treating something as a side hustle. Because I'm like, right, if I put 100% effort into this, I will get 100% results. So that's what I did. I quit my FIFO job in August last year. And that month after I quit my job, I only made about 2 grand. And I was questioning if I had made the biggest mistake of my life. Obviously I was now posting content, shitting on the mining industry, shitting on the trades. So in my head, I couldn't really go back to that. So I was like, fuck, have I made a big mistake here? I'm still making money, but not a hell of a lot. But I stuck through it. I didn't want to give up. I didn't give up, pushed through it. And then that second month after I quit my job, I brought in $13,500 in commissions. Now that's not millions, but $13,000 is probably more than 98% of the population earns a month. So that's when I had the true mindset shift that if I put 100% effort into something, I will get results like that. But if I treat something as a side hustle, it's going to be up and down. It's never going to be consistent. And realistically, I was putting in all this effort to learn these sales skills, to learn these new skills, building a personal brand. Why wouldn't I want to go all in? Why would I only want to treat it as a side hustle when I'm putting in all this effort to learn these new skills? It just doesn't make sense to me. So that's what changed my mindset, as well as not wanting to be a fucking slave to the trades and the mining industry for my entire life. I wanted to have control over my life, which I now have. And it's been huge for not only my income, but my personal development. My income is now reliant on me. There's no one paying me a consistent wage every week. If I want to make money, I've got to get to work. It's that simple. But putting my back against the wall like that has been huge for my personal development, like I said, because it's taught me to be disciplined. I have to get up and do my work every day, regardless of if I feel like it. It's taught me to be resilient in the tough times, because obviously I'm not going to make $13,000 every month. I've had months where I've dropped down to like 7,000, but I don't let it get me down. You stick to it, and then the month after that, it bumps back up to like 11 or 12. And I mean, I've got a lot of work to do. I want to, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10x my income. But it's just a matter of staying resilient, staying consistent, and putting in the reps. That's the main thing, putting in the reps. And I know if you're watching this, you are probably in a position where you may not enjoy your job 100%. You may not want to do it for much longer, which I've been in your shoes. It's not a good feeling. You don't really know what to do. But if there's one piece of advice that I can give, and it doesn't matter what industry you're looking at getting into, just take the leap. Because at the end of the day, if God forbid it doesn't work out, you just go back to doing whatever you were doing anyway. So what is the harm in taking that risk? No one ever became successful. No one ever became rich from going to a 9-to-5 job. Nobody ever, never, ever, ever did anyone become successful going to their 9-to-5 job and trying to save up money. I know it sounds cliche, but risk it to get the biscuit is the most true fucking analogy you could ever come across. The people that make it big in this world and the people that succeed are the ones that take the biggest risks. No risk, no Rari, as they say. And I mean, the thing that got me to where I am today was the help of my mentor. Clearly, I would not be in the position I am in without his help, without their help, because I didn't know shit about fucking creating content. I didn't know shit about remote closing or appointment setting. And it goes for everything. If you are looking at getting a mentor for whatever it may be, drop shipping, you know, marketing, remote sales, whatever it may be, whatever industry you're looking at getting into, you always have to understand that when it comes to investing in yourself, as far as I'm concerned, the more money you can spend, the better. Because if you go and half-ass it and get some mentor that costs you $500, everyone can live with losing $500, right? So you're not going to have skin in the game. Like if I invested $500, you might put in effort for 2 weeks and then you're like, ah, fuck, I'm not seeing any results. It's only $500, who cares? But if you get a mentor that is serious and you have to pay multiple thousands of dollars, all of a sudden your back's against the wall. You don't want to lose that money. So regardless of what's going on in your life, you're going to fucking make that happen. And that was my thought process behind what I was doing. I wanted to find a mentor and invest as much money as I could possibly afford to give me the best results possible. I didn't want to half-ass it, and that's what made me have the mindset of, you know, I had skin in the game, so like I was gonna make this fucking work. There was no questioning ifs or buts. It was gonna happen. And that's the thing with this industry. I've seen people fail, yes I have, but the only reason people fail is if you give up. You may not see results in a week, you may not see results in a month, you may not see results in 3, 4, 5 months, but there's one common denominator. If you do not give up, you will not fail. You will get there eventually. Like I said, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, you will get there. But if you give up, you will never get there. As cliche as it sounds, that is just the facts. Like a lot of things in life, it's very much a you get out what you put in type of industry. And another thing that I've learnt along my journey is that your income will never outgrow your personal development. So if you're getting up late every day, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, doing a bit here and there, you've got no set schedule, you're eating whatever you want, you don't train, your income will never outgrow your personal development. But if you create good habits, get up early, have a set schedule that you follow, eat the foods you should be eating, train when you should be training, train hard, that's when your income will start to increase. As cliche as that sounds, it's just the facts. You will not start earning big money until you have developed as a person to be able to handle that sort of money, if that makes sense. So that's been a big focus of mine in the recent couple of months, is just really trying to dial in my personal development in terms of training, eating, getting up at the crack of dawn, getting all my hard stuff done for the day early, and really getting my schedule on point so I can become the person I want to be and get to that next level of income. Because at the moment, you know, I've been hovering around 10, 12, 13K a month for a while now, and that's simply because I haven't developed as a person. So that's been my big focus lately, is personal development. But yeah, I've been yapping for a while now, but the main message I wanted to get across in this video is if you're going to treat something as a side hustle, you're only ever going to get side hustle results. I said it before, I'll say it again. What's the point in putting in the effort of learning a new set of skills, putting in all this time and effort to learn for a couple $100 a week? There's no point. If you're going to do something, go all in, give it your all, and reap the rewards. But yeah, that's my yap over. If you are interested in getting into doing what I'm doing, the remote sales space, the digital product space, there'll be a link in the description of the video where you can book in for a call with one of the success coaches from the mentorship that I'm a part of. But like I said before, only book in for a time if you are serious and you are going to take this seriously. Or if you want to have a bit more of a chat to me, hit me up on Instagram. My username is _BrodieWhite, BRODIEWHITE. Just reach out to me with the word YouTube and we can have a chat, see where you're at, and see if we can potentially get you on the right track and get you started. Anyway, thank you for listening to my yap, and go make some fucking money.